I'm Vinnie Adams. I'm very glad to meet you there. I am going to ask you some questions coming from a member of the CIPO. The CIPO is an organization, a French umbrella organization, comprising many associations and individuals. Improve transparency in France for the UAP phenomena and to help also each organization, for example, to connect together, to do something in a particular domain. For example, the CIPO write a letter to the French president, and all the members gather and they exchange a lot to propose a project. And so today, please, could you introduce yourself first?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Vinnie Adams. I am the creator of an organisation called Disclosure Team. I put out information on social media, and I host a podcast on YouTube where I interview prominent figures in the UFO community and to try and build relationships. And then I also work for an organisation called UAP Media UK, which is like a think tank where we speak with members of parliament in the government in the UK. We speak with the mainstream media to give credible information for news stories. And we also consult on sort of TV documentaries and work like that. I'm currently about to begin work with another organisation called Unhidden, which is a charity around mental health and well-being of experiencers or witnesses to UAP.
I know it well. How do the media, including your own, perceive the UAP cases and why?
So what, the media in the UK?
Yes.
We're in a bit of a transition period when it comes to how the UAP subject is reported in the UK. For many years there's been a lot of stigma around the subject, and so when it is reported in the mainstream news, it's often portrayed as little green men, aliens and X-Files music, whereas one of the great things that we're able to do with UAP Media UK is speak to journalists and make the story more credible with less sensationalist aspects to it, and to really lay out the facts in a more data-driven way rather than wild stories.
Of course. And do you have sound the film Accidental Truth? And yes, and Louis Elizondo and Bigelow accidentally revealed that extraterrestrials are real. What are your thoughts about that?
I've always believed that there is something to the phenomena, that it is real, but I still struggle with the origin. When you say extraterrestrial, I'm still not necessarily convinced of where they're from, and a lot of my work really is to focus on that fact that it is real, the phenomena, and then after that, that's when we can start trying to figure out where they come from, why they are here, what they want with us. You know, I think it's that initial confirmation that has been my main focus for many years.
Okay. And what are your thoughts about Bob Lazar? And is what he said is fake or not? In your opinion, of course.
Sure. I go back and forth with Bob Lazar. Sometimes I'm okay, this is real. Other times, not so much. I believe Bob believes what he's saying, but whether it's the absolute truth, I'm not convinced.
Okay. Since the launch of the Disclosure Team channel, have you noticed a change in attitude among your guests in approaching the UAP issue, showing a deep desire to the truth, to be finally accessible to the general public rather than a select few?
Yeah, I think the more I've spoken to people in the last few years, it does seem that it's getting more and more. People want to share more information and make it more available to the public, and I see the attitude has changed in a positive way. Okay.
And Have you been able to gather testimony from individual corroborating David Grush's claims about alleged recoveries of non-human craft on beings?
Sorry, was the question, have I spoken with them?
Have you been able to gather information about similar testimonies?
I have spoken privately with a couple of individuals who have kind of corroborated to a little bit of that. I can't say too much. I have also been lucky enough to speak with David Grush privately as well.
Okay.
He's a very nice and credible individual, and I hope that the transparency continues coming to the public from other whistleblowers.
It's been 30 years since cinema has been intentionally or unintentionally preparing us with movies like 2001, Space Oddity, or Close Encounter of the Third King, etc. When do you think the revelation will occur, and how?
It's a very hard question. I mean, we often hear that this disclosure process is a long process, and we are probably in the early stages now.
Okay.
I would love it to be in the next 5 years, but it may be a lot longer. I will just continue to work my hardest and try and bring that day closer and closer.
And in this process, what do you think is the most important? The science aspect, the political aspect, maybe the news, your job aspect, or the pressure of the public, or the whistleblower coming to talk? Where do you think pressure to succeed to this disclosure?
I think they are all equal, and I think everybody has a role to play and can help this process. I think if we try to focus too much on just one area, say the government or politics, then we're missing out on other areas. And so that's why with the work that I do, I like to speak with the media and the government side of things, but I also go out and investigate cases with boots on the ground, get your hands dirty as well. I think anyone can help. Even members of the public can write letters or emails to their representatives, no matter what country it is. And I'm really pleased to see that scientists are more and more getting on board with this subject. It's showing that the taboo and the stigma is dropping, that everyone is important in this process.
And at the European level, what can we do to connect us together and to work together on common subject? What do you think about it? How we can succeed to do that? Well,
conferences like this one we're at today really help to introduce people in person, which I think is very important, but also having podcasts and shows where we can bring guests on from not just the US, and really focus on the other areas of the world. This is a global phenomenon. It is not owned by one country, and so I think that more collaboration is needed in Europe and further afield to the east as well.
Yeah. Okay, do you have another question, Isa? What do you think about, yes, a good question, about the abduction? Is it something real, not real? Do you have some example of testimonies?
I don't, unfortunately. It's not really my area of focus, and I wouldn't want to pretend like I know a lot about it. I have spoken briefly with a couple of abductees before, and rather than me believing them or not, I believe that they believe what happened to them is true. It's not for me to judge. I would feel rude being put in that position. You know, it's sensitive.
Okay.
So I believe that there may be something happening, and I think hopefully in the future we learn more about it, whether it is true or not. But that's how I see it. It's a sensitive.
You are cautious today.
Yeah, very cautious.
Okay, I understand. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And see you.
Yes, thank you ever so much. It's a pleasure.
I hope to come to see you in UK.
I would love that. Absolutely.